Shalom, John. Shalom, John.
Shalom, Judith.
And we are here again to give an overview of the parashah for the week. And the parashah for this week is Vayikra, and it's taken from Leviticus 1st chapter, 1st verse to the 5th chapter, 26th verse. And Vayikra is, and he called. And particularly, the first sentence of Vayikra is, Vayikra el Moshe Yedaber Adonai elav me'ochel moed lamor. And it's God speaking calling. Vayikra is calling. God is calling to Moses.
Well, actually, did two things, and they're a little subtle. First, he called, then he spoke to him. Now, some are saying, what happened in between the call and the speaking? And we're not sure what he said between the call and him speaking to Moses. And does it use the word God or Elohim?
It uses Yud He Vav He.
Yud He Vav He. Okay. So the interesting thing, there was a call and then there was the speaking, and something happened between the call and the speaking. Another interesting part there, various translations will do it differently, and has to do with an offering. Sometimes you use the word sacrifice, and I think the version I've got uses the word an offering. These are not commands. These are offerings that an individual would give from within himself. Not necessarily a command to give an offering or a sacrifice. I guess they're offerings and then they're sacrifices. An offering is used and animals are used, but the offerings are used to draw us closer in our relationship with God. Mm-hmm. Not as if, the offering isn't made to appease God or because he's angry with us or anything like that. This offering is made to show that we desire to be above the level of animals, and it's designed to draw us closer in our relationship with God. It's a good thing, not a bad thing because God's mad at us. Mm-hmm. It's that we are to draw closer to him.
Well, and some of the commentaries I have for Leviticus or Vayikra, it says that the whole of Vayikra are commandments that would be commandments or commandments that would be done if the temple was in effect. But I contend that all of these still point back to Jesus, Yeshua, our Messiah. Mm-hmm. And it tells us why he had to make the ultimate sacrifice for our sins. So I think...
Yeah, I suppose the same thing. The sacrifice he made, or the offering he made to God, was to draw us near. Mm-hmm. Not something to appease God, but to draw us near. Mm-hmm. And perhaps the animal sacrifices, as they call it, have gotten a bad rap. The idea is not to, God likes blood or wants blood. Mm-hmm. It's to draw us near and to show us that we are above the level of animals.
Mm-hmm. And also to remind us, Vayikra reminds us, and it appears throughout all of Vayikra, is that there can be no expiation or remission of sin without a blood sacrifice. Mm-hmm. So this probably would help us, those of us maybe who weren't raised with learning the Torah and understanding why, I'll say why necessarily it was a blood sacrifice, mm-hmm. But God is very specific, just like in building the temple, he's very specific in what needs to be done. And since he's God, I figure he knows what needs to be done in order to have sin remitted.
Mm-hmm. A very interesting thing I learned in that when young Jewish children learn Torah, mm-hmm. the first book of Torah they study, Leviticus, not Genesis, Leviticus. That's where they start. And I think yes, there are burnt sacrifices, but then there are offerings that are free will, mm-hmm. and they're given from the individual. Mm-hmm. The whole idea is to do things that draw us near to God.
Exactly.
As opposed to further away from him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. So we will get deeper into this on Shabbat, doing our Shabbat table talk. And a couple of ideas I'll bring up then that I made in my notes. And also a reminder that Passover or Pesach starts sundown on March 30th. So we're getting very close. And maybe we'll mention a little bit about Passover in the next overview.
All right.
Anything else?
Looking forward to seeing you again on Friday, on Shabbat.
And further discussion, deeper discussion. So we hope that you continue to have a good week. Shavua Tov.
Shavua Tov.
Be still, my soul. The Lord is on thy side. Bear patiently